What's up, everybody? Ain't nobody in here yet. They will be. So when you look at it later, you can say, I was there. I was part of history. These damn slow. As soon as I see something, it's like a whole wolf that just went up. Terrible. Anyway, you were part of history. You were part of this kind of live. One of the first for the weekend of Memorial Day 2026. Yeah. As I keep saying, this is one of the most important weekends of my content creating annual schedule. This is one of those weekends right now. This right here, today, right now. This is special. Of course, the core is the. All right. And yes, I'm working again. So if you're new to the channel and you're like, what's it mean working? Yeah, the main work is this right now, ONYXCON content. But I'll be doing courier work too. So I'll be on my courier work too. So I'll be putting on this when it's time to drop these goodies, get these people their orders. I got to hurry up too because I got 2 orders. How y'all doing? How y'all doing for this weekend? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I think it is gonna be one of those where I'm not gonna wait for y'all to get up in here. I think I'll just go ahead and start breaking down some things because I have a couple of topics I want to hit. I got a couple of topics I want to hit, and it's all mostly related to well, there's two areas. Okay, the first, I think I'm gonna deal with City of Atlanta, safety in the City of Atlanta, and what's going on and why I'm as a true Atlantan, a real ATLian, I'm feeling some kind of way about all of this recent influx of crime in my city and how bad it's getting. It's out of control. We're gonna deal with that topic. And then last, if I can remember to get into that and don't have too many technical difficulties or whatever, I'm gonna talk about. I was watching Cam Newton's show, which I am a subscriber, and I like Cam for the most part. I always say for the most part when I speak of any human being, because we all got stuff that we gonna say and do at times. I'll be like, no, I don't know about what you did there. I don't, whatever. But for the most part, I rock with Cam. I was a fan of him as an athlete. I think as an individual, a lot of things I've heard him say, I can agree with. A lot of his perspective when he gets deep. Now, when he just being silly, that's either entertaining and makes me laugh, or it's like a hot mess, and I'm just like, Cam, what you doing? But I always had to remind myself that he's younger because he has a side of himself that's an old soul, and then he's got the one that acts like his silly, very privileged star athlete, still rich, getting richer personality, and it just is what it is. You know what I mean? Take it or leave it, because he ain't gonna change. I know that much. He'll change when he want to change. That's the kind of person he is, and that's how most of us really are. But he's aware of that, so I like that about himself. He's aware of himself. Um, but that interview with Montel Jordan was really good, really good. If you haven't seen it, it was a lot of great points made, unexpected points, things I didn't expect them to get into that I was really impressed with. I was like, whoa, okay. Oh, we going there. We going there. Whoa. All right. They went deep. They went deep, and particularly when he addressed relationships and religious perspectives and all that, because Cam was church boy, so to speak. His dad is a pastor. Montel Jordan became a pastor. He's now an ordained pastor now. He wasn't that all his life. And he even talks about how he made that transition into becoming, what he is now. And I thought that was really interesting. For anybody new to the channel, I might be thinking, if people hear the words, anything talking about religion, oh, this is religious. If they're religious, they get happy. They just love to hear, people say words that remind them of religion. I'm not religious. So, okay. All right. Just let you know right now. If you want to jump, now be if you got to hear the word God 15 times to get comfortable with somebody online, it's time for you to go. Okay, yeah, there you go. Bye bye. So, but if you cool, stay here. We got more for you. So we're gonna reel it back to the first topic. Like I said, I wanted to discuss city of Atlanta, man. Just and when I say that, I really can't say the entire thing. I'm just saying based on recent events and things I've become aware of, some that I didn't even want to be aware of. But you see stuff on your timeline when you go on to every social media app, and me being in social media, of course I got to keep up with what's going on more or less. I mean, I don't, let me say that different. I don't have to, but I choose to, because there's times I'm just like, you know what, man, y'all just kiss my ass. I'm tired of all this bullshit. Like, I don't even want to be on here, right? But I'm doing what I got to do because I made a mission out of it for my own vision, my own tunnel of success. And sometimes when you are aware of these things that you didn't even want to be aware of, they're what everybody else is talking about, whether you're talking about it or not. And sometimes one way or another, it does affect your content. It's going to affect your life. It's like, even if you don't have to know everything about it, like for example, you ain't got to be a Drake fan to be aware of this album and the effect it's having on people talking about music right now. It's insane to me how many people, what's funny to me about that, on a quick tangent, we be busting topics up in here, okay? Hot topics. We going from one to one. It's going to be some tangents. But I will say this about that. What gets me with that is all these people that are more or less they're doing a Future on us. Future from Atlanta, the rapper, he got a track he did with Drake on this thing, on this Iceman thing. Because I did listen to it. I stomached it. To just be frank, I'm not gonna be one of these bandwagon folk who just, it's trending to act like it was so amazing and to just act like it wasn't that incredible. Oh my God, no, it wasn't. No, quite frankly, it really wasn't. I mean, I didn't get what I've always the only thing I've ever needed or appreciated about Drake's whole body of music is when he did. Damn, which way they coming from? Y'all hear them? I think they're behind us. Okay, there they go. Y'all clear a path. Stop being assholes. Get out the way. All right. Ambulance, y'all. Sorry for the. Hey, ain't gotta be sorry. Whatever. Somebody's getting their life saved. Do what y'all gotta do. I always move when it's the ambulance. Get out the way. Get out the damn way. And that's actually gonna be relevant to something else I'm gonna be talking about later when I was gonna hit that topic about relationships. But before we get there, like I said about Drake stuff, right? I'll tell you my favorite Drake songs. Off the top of the head, there's probably more that I don't even know the names of, but I know the little chorus and stuff. Like, you got it, girl, you got it. The Detroit with Chris Brown, love that song. Love it. It's just the rhythms. Working. It's harmonic as hell. I love that song. I love that song. But the thing about it, when you got a hit, anybody can sing that song. It don't have to be him. Because he can't really sing. That's what's funny to me about Drake. Drake ain't never been able to damn sing. He he tries to hold a note, okay? But he because his voice and his personality can be funny enough. That's the entertainment. I think that's why people like it, because it's just like, this is funny, man. Look at this dude trying to sing. Think it's funny, right? And it is harmonic. So as long as it's enough on the beat, enough on the note, okay, cool. We working with it. Synthesize it, all that. You don't want to hear that shit a cappella. You know, don't cut the music off in a concert and let him think he gonna really blow. Like, you ain't Luther, bruh. You ain't Luther Vandross. Calm down. Just stay in your lane. Do a little wacky dance, and that was the joke in the video. I like the video because it was like, he trying to challenge Chris Brown, a real singer and dancer. Chris can do both quite well, and get shown up. But they did it tastefully. They made it like we're ending this beef that I'll never forget when that song came. I was like, dude, you got too many damn beefs. I mean, of course, it's way before Kendrick, because back then everything was cool. And you're like, when did that happen? I guess I don't mind being older, man, because I like not knowing. I like being surprised. Like, what's wrong with these young folks? The hell, when did that happen? I didn't even know they were beefing back when that happened. When I saw the video, I was like, what is this about? Like, I see what they doing, but why are they making it like they had a beef? Had to look it up. Like, oh really? That's what that was. Y'all call that? Okay, whatever. All right. You know, you got it, girl. You got it. That's all I need, man. I need anthems. I need summer ride out to it jams. I need something you can dance around the house and clean up the house to. Not this. You think you tough. You trying to play tough. Everybody knows that ain't your lane, bruh. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. And all this trying to act like you a mob boss, talking about you putting hits on folk. Shit, man, shit, what the hell you talking about, man? What you talking about? And then all the other stuff. It's just I found myself just saying by about halfway through it. Honestly, here's how I know it wasn't nothing to me. Because if it was, I give credit where credit. If I had heard another, you got it, girl, you got it, I would have been singing it when I came on here. Like, yo, I ain't gonna front. That one right there. And I was watching to speak of Cam Newton again. Cam, in my opinion, I think Cam is just so mainstream with probably some of his listening taste. Because I remember when he used to do Hold the Ox, and I used to like that. If you know what I'm talking about, if you've been following Cam for a while, you know what I'm talking about. But he was like, "Who want to hold the ox?" And he'd be talking about the auxiliary cord on old school music when we had, record player, whatever other kinds of equipment, and you use the auxiliary cables, the red, the yellow, the white, and you hook it into the bag and then hook it to the speaker. And he was trying to say, let you DJ. I'm a DJ. This is what I'm into. And he would play something in the car, and he would be like, "I'm holding the ox, y'all." He's like, "Hold on, let me give y'all something else." And he'd switch to something else, and it was fun. It was cool stuff, and it was stuff I relate to. And he told me he got an old soul enough to appreciate stuff from other generations, in addition to stuff from his own time. And I could dig that because I'm the same way, right? But when he was talking about, this new Drake thing, he was all on it. He was talking. I mean, him and what's the guy's name? Damn, I'm forgetting his name. On Fourth and Long, when he does, he got his two shows. But we do Fourth and Long, where they typically just talk about sports, but he can do whatever he wants. It's his show. He was talking about the Drake thing, and quite frankly, Fourth and Long is another example of when I be saying, look, we proudly, openly do multi niche content here. At ONYXCON, we do multi niche content. I talk about whatever the hell I see fit for what we doing when it comes to creative lifestyle, art life, etc. So music is art forever. So I'm always in the lane. It don't matter what I'm doing, I'm gonna be in the lane. But I think other people, I think they struggle with being. I mean, like Cam is a stylist. He's into style, even if style be crazy sometimes. I dig some of the stuff he be wearing. Or one thing, I'll be like, okay, I like the hat and I like the jersey. I don't know about the rest. I wouldn't put none of that together, but I like that. That kind of thing. But that's Cam. Cam gonna be Cam, and I like that he got his own thing. If he didn't dress so crazy, I wouldn't. I'd be like, what's wrong with him? Is he sick? Is he okay? You all right, bro? You need a jersey with a turtleneck underneath and a bow tie. I mean, what? I'd be worried about him if he wasn't dressing like that. That's him. He gonna do him, right? But I think that when I saw his review of the Drake thing and he was just going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over it. I mean, he was like, if you ever seen Pootie Tang, one of my favorite comedy movies, by the way, shout out Chris Rock, classic. Some people just don't get Pootie. They either hate it, it's a hate or love it type of thing. You either love it or understand it, or you can't play with it. Pootie Tang is the truth. But when Chris Rock played the extra character of the DJ who's in the booth, and Pootie put out the song, that was silence. It was him in the booth. He was telling telling the engineer why he was recording it, turn it down, turn it down. And he had the music down low. He said, no, 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 lower, lower. To where it's total silence. And then he dropped it. That was the album. And the dude puts it on. He's like, you got that new Pootie? And this Chris Rock being the DJ, he's like, you got that new Pootie? We about to put that new Pootie on. Pootie, what you got to say? Put it on. And he goes crazy. Pootie done it. Pootie done it again. I need to find that clip. I need to do a reaction to that clip. Because some of y'all don't know real comedy. I got to go find that and do a reaction to that clip. Somebody done put it on YouTube. I can do a reaction to that clip. Oh my gosh. Put it done it again. Put it is a genius. Put it done it again. Ain't nothing. This is the joke. Nothing. There's nothing, no music whatsoever. Nothing. And that was the brilliance of that joke on Pootie Tang. There was nothing. Total silence. and the DJ is losing his mind. That's how I feel like a lot of people are acting about this damn Drake album. I just feel like just because he's popular, Pootie was popular, but Pootie, the only thing about Pootie. Pootie was popular for good reasons, right? He is a legend. He was a hero. He was doing a lot of great stuff. I didn't say from the beginning of this that I've never not liked some Drake music. Yes, I have my list. I got my checkoffs, and if you put them all together, it'd be like an album with 8 tracks, and that's it. That's all you get for it. Like maybe 8, to be honest. I don't know, or like 5, maybe. Yeah, 4. To be honest, just to be honest, man. And I'm not expecting everybody to be that fan. This dude didn't become, quite frankly, if you're honest about that, the biggest, next to all the others, hell, one of the biggest pop stars of this era. But in my eras, see, when you get my age, you got eras. You don't have an era, you got eras. You feel what I'm saying? You get to my parents' age, you got multiple eras. You see, and if you got any respect for that, it don't matter how much you praise and worship all these new guys and gals. There wouldn't be none of them if it wasn't for what we lived through and what we supported and who we love. Because everybody they trying to be already has been. And that's respect when you understand that. Some young folk just don't. I don't know why there's this big problem with understanding that in this new generation. Not everybody. Not everybody. There's that. I see the ones that represent. I see the ones who look back. And I'm seeing more and more that's a trend too. I'm seeing more and more, like when I watch DJ videos and stuff, man, I'll be like, whoa, this is a whole audience of 20 somethings and 30 maybe. Like, damn, they all 20 something and even sometimes probably right at 18 to, like, I would give it like, sometimes he's supposed to be like from 18 to 28 max, more than likely. And they up there jamming out to stuff I grew up on and acting like they know the lyrics and shit. That'd be cracking me up when they be like, and I'd be like, do you even know what the hell you just said? Like, because the slang done changed. The terms, everything. Like, sometimes people look it up. I'm not saying they don't. But I know a lot of people don't. They just want to be, oh, that's what we do. Okay, yeah. This is whatever it is. Almost, yeah. Do you even know what that means? No, when do you know? They have no clue. Don't even have a clue. So that'd be the part for me. It's like research, realize, revise. That's our 3 words we use all the time here at ONYXCON. I say research, realize, revise. There's nothing wrong with delving into something new and different and wanting to be different, but be knowing what the hell you doing too. Like I say, even with style all the time, like I love jerseys, right? I will wear a jersey from a country or a place. If I had the money, I would buy so many funky. Y'all would be like, yo, what the hell is he wearing today? And it would be dope. Every time. It would be crazy. Because I love all that. I love logos. I love mascots. I love all that kind of stuff, right? But I'm going to research that team before I wear it. I'm going to find out the history of that team before I wear it. I don't care if they were winning, losing, all that, but I want to know. So if I'm in an area where, oh, this is their rival town, and I'm walking around with the, it's like going through Atlanta with a big ass shirt on and say, who that? And a big old Saint sign on your back, man, that's like a damn target. Like, I ain't saying people gonna literally snipe you, but you gonna get heat all day. Oh, you gonna get some looks. You gonna get some. I tell you what, so and so gonna kick their ass in this. You gonna get all that old stuff. Like, you gonna get it. You gonna get it. Like, and you gotta know the stuff so that you don't be offended when people just sometimes they just being fun and they think you know what you're wearing, so they gonna try you in a fun way, not aggressively. Like I got it. Like speaking of Cam Newton, right? I got this one of my favorite hats. I've worn it before. Y'all have seen it if you not new to the channel, but it's a Carolina Panthers hat. I love the Panthers. I love Panthers. I like aggressive animals and shit. I like stuff like that, right? So I'm wearing that one time, and this dude, he saw me from probably 10 feet away, and he was grinning as he was getting closer. He knew he must have been looking at the hat. It was just that sports fan look that people do. Like, I got something to say about that. That's my team. And usually you're gonna get, hey man, you from Carolina? I'd be like, no, I'm from right here, brother. I respect Cam's legacy, man, and I always like the logo and the colors. Oh, that's what's up, man. And that's it. Keep it pushing, right? But no, he was like, keep pounding, and I was like, I didn't know the phrase back then. I hadn't looked that one up yet. But because of that interaction, I had to go check that out and understand where that came from. That's a team phrase because one of the coaches said once upon a time in one of the seasons, and I don't remember the whole story, so I'm not even gonna play myself and pretend I remember every word of what I read, but I read it. It was something to do with their coach with some season, and they were trying to make it to a certain level, and I don't know, maybe they had a major game they won or something happened, and he told the team, we got to keep pounding. It was one of his pep talks, and they just stuck. They kept saying it, and then the crowd started knowing about it because they they made it public, and then it became a phrase for the whole town. So like whenever they, just like we say, rise up in Atlanta for the Falcons, if you wearing some Falcon stuff and you don't know that's the thing, somebody yell out rise up, they looking at you crazy if you don't say it back, or if you don't at least just nod like yeah man, you know what it is, or throw up the A or something. That's what they want. They just want to feel belonging. People want to feel a belonging. It's understood. It's understood. So I don't never get put off by that, but I want to be aware of all that. And it's impossible to know every bit, but it's like a language. If you know a little bit of the language, it's just like going to a country, and if you don't even know just know how to say hello and goodbye, thank you, yes and no. I tell people be making such a big deal. I'm not saying that knowing most of or more of a language is not, of course, optimal. And especially if you decide you're gonna live somewhere where there's another language. I already know there's a part of me wants to live elsewhere at some point in life, and a lot of those places are Spanish-speaking countries. I gotta learn more Spanish. My little bit ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna have to know some. I'm gonna have to have at least a few more sentences versus just words scattered and piecing them together and sounding like a little kid with cute, you know. I got pronunciation, but I'm putting stuff together in ways people don't put it together and stuff, and they know that. Yeah, you'll get by. You will get by. Like people make it seem like you can't get. Yeah, you can. You can get by. It's your energy. If you mean well, if you're not, if you're positive and considerate and respectful, people feel that and they're gonna look out for you. Period. In most cases, normal, balanced people. So yeah, that leads me out. I meant to segue out of that to say this. I was saying about the Drake thing that I just think a lot of people are riding the jock of this thing only because he had success. Everybody's so freaking money conscious. And what's funny to me is all because of the hype of the one album. I don't even know the names of the other two albums, and I haven't even heard. I haven't wanted to listen, to be honest. After I tried, I told you I listened to the first thing, the most hyped. I listened to this Iceman thing, and I wasn't impressed. I don't remember any lyric. I don't remember any chorus. And if it were impressive, I would. Even if I didn't, I'm definitely Team Kendrick automatic. But I give credit where credit's due, and there wasn't no credit to give, man. It was just, most of it just sound depressed, and that version of himself where he just like, it's that type of Drake. And then it's like when he's hype, he's trying to sound tougher than he is, and that's annoying as hell. It's like, dude, you are not a thug. You was never a damn thug. You may know some thugs, and these thugs keep making you think you a thug. You ain't a thug. Like, no, just leave that alone. Leave all of that shit alone. That's not the lane anyway, man. Like, don't you realize you are a hit because you were the kid from the privileged home? You are the hit because you're the relatable nice guy who likes hip hop. That's it. Like, you don't have to be a thug to be hip hop. That's the problem. You don't have to be. Hip hop was the anti thug. It was the serum to get people out of killing each other and dealing and all the other mess that was put into the communities that it spawned from. That's the true meaning of hip hop, y'all. So it's nothing, but the problem is once it got commercialized, people decide they're gonna make money off of pain and anguish and promote prison industrial complex, which gets money in the pockets of corporations that own prisons and don't mind how many of y'all stupid enough to keep falling for their bullshit. Okay, then you go down the lane and they gotta have the theme music. So that's what it became more so known for, and that's why people think that it's just that. That ain't never been what it really supposed to be. That ain't never been the real deal, man. Never. That's the fabricated bullshit on purpose. That's what that is. That ain't got nothing to do with the real. And the real keep telling y'all that, but the problem is y'all don't be listening because y'all ain't y'all. A lot of y'all just so damn trendy, man. Everybody's so freaking trendy, and then you want to act like you deep. Just leave deep alone. Because if you stay on trendy and pop only, your water ain't deep. I'm sorry. That's thin water. That's shallow as a motherfucker. It's always been. It's always gonna be. You shallow. So all you can name, if I ask you for your top five, and every damn body in the list is always the same people everybody else gonna debate, like damn, how you gonna call yourself a real hip hop fan and you don't know nothing but the mainstream rappers? That tell me alone, you don't know. You don't know. You ain't never heard AC alone, but you talking about West Coast. You ain't never heard of Project Blow, but you talking about LA. Hmm? Man, please. Get on out. Go on somewhere. Go on somewhere. You know, you want to talk about Atlanta hip hop and everybody want to start a trap. That ain't the beginning of our story. That is not the beginning. That is just trap is the equivalent of what gangster rap was in LA. That's what it is. It's what happened when that took over and then it became the total identity of a place, which is not true. Not true. Everybody in LA is not a banger. Not everybody in LA can relate to all that life and all that bullshit. That is not the truth. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Yes, people got to be aware. Just like in Atlanta, you got to be aware of trap mentality and thuggery and gangsterism and shit. It exists, definitely. But is that the narrative complete? No. Never has been, never gonna be. Never has been, never gonna be. Now that's a perfect segue into my other topic though. Because of all the pushing towards that kind of mess, the kids in the situations where it is rough or they've made it rough because it wasn't always that either. Okay, we got things happening like I got a group chat with my guys that I went to high school with. These are like my brother. I got Aaron. I was talking about people in your life. The older you get, you'll have sex. You'll have your grade school friends, anybody who fits into elementary, middle, and high school. Then you'll have your college friends, anybody who fits into that area of life. You didn't go to college, don't matter. Just that time in life, whatever. You was out working, you in the world. Okay, the early first phase of that, you'll have those friends. Then you'll have later on, oh, I worked at this other place, or I took on these other 3, 4, 5 jobs, whatever. Trust me, this is how it goes. You're gonna get new people. Just those to go on, but just those categories are just against the damn narrative of what some of these constructs of identity. Yep. We finished this thought, y'all. So what I was talking about, I mentioned Bowling for Columbine, you know, and that's the name of the documentary. It was Columbine High School, which I can't remember what state that was, but it was a mostly all white school. I'll never forget. I think it was two boys, or another a boy, maybe two, that came to school, had long black trench coats on, armed to the teeth with shotguns and other guns, and just killed all these people. It was a massacre, one of the worst ever out of that type of killings. But we know since then, and even before then, it's not that it's the first time it ever happened, but it was one of the worst that pointed to this being something that could keep happening, and it did. It's just, there was always these kids that people always, when they do the report and they find out who they were, and they were all these introverts that were so weird, and and it's not always an introvert, but a lot of times, yeah, you know, the scary, picked on kid that nuts the hell up. This is what always happens. That's what that character was. If you ever saw Higher Learning, John Singleton's masterpiece, rest his soul, great director. But that's what that character was about. If you ever watch that, and see that character that ended up becoming a neo-Nazi and all this craziness. It's pointing to the problem. Now, the real that black and these black children out there on their graduation day trying to kill each other, I'll tell you something. That right there is a result, in my opinion, of years and years of mental conditioning of not only self-hate, but lack of determination for even, you gotta think about what a graduation is supposed to mean. What it's supposed to mean. You graduating should mean you've accomplished what few sometimes do. You've supposedly gotten all of the education required to move on to the next levels in life with a degree that says you met the requirements. That's what it's supposed to represent. And I can add a whole bunch of other words to it and embellish it. But the bottom line is, for a bunch of high school kids And some of them in cap and gown. That part really just, oh my gosh. If the video had been a random, it still would have been just as bad. But it made it that much worse to see kids who are there to either, I don't, like I said, I don't know if it happened before or after, fighting at a graduation. You out of your damn mind. Obviously so. Completely insane. You don't, it doesn't matter of anything. Nothing. Degree don't matter, the achievement don't matter, the life expectancy don't matter, because they don't have that. That's what you see when you see a moment like that. These kids that are on that frequency, they don't expect to live to get to freaking 40 even. So when they see people, it's like it's taking me a while to be this blunt about it. I've been knowing this, but it's to the point now it's blatant. Like, there's literally kids that when I tell somebody my age, it's not just about the flex of me feeling good that I look how I look at my age. They're literally in awe that I'm healthy, that I look younger than I'm supposed to in their mind. And they're knowing that shit. I know people who are in their late 30s and 40s who already got all the grades that you got. That's how it's age quick, y'all. They age and grandpa and because all these, never work, man. Bunch of lackluster ass boys, raised by lackluster ass boys, still walking around with your fucking pants off your ass. I keep saying that's not a, that's not an expression. That's a failure. That's all it fucking represents is failure. I'm saying, y'all. I'm saying there ought to be some ground rules. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna add some more to it. I said this already. I said, look, with Piedmont Park or any place that's public that people do have the right to come into and not have any checks or whatever and all. Yeah. But we've shown that this society ain't balanced enough, ain't mature enough, ain't stable enough mentally to have any form of large gathering that doesn't have certain rules in place for everybody's safety. I said everybody. I didn't say specifically trying to point certain things to certain people culturally and all that. And here's where it gets sticky, right? Because if someone were to say, here's where it gets sticky. If someone were to say, we got a new ground rule and we're not allowing anybody to come to the park with sagging pants. Well, the first thing some ignorant ass black folk would say is they trying to target up. Whoa. Why the fuck is sagging pants you? Why is that your fucking identity from the first place? With your stupid ass still doing that? That's the first goddamn question. If there was a rule list that said cannot wear house shoes and cannot wear bonnets, if you get all mad, why the fuck is that your identity? To begin with. See, we need some goddamn ground rules. Motherfuckers ain't got no ground rules. They ain't got none at their own house, so I'll be damned if they gonna have something when they step outside. Say that again. They ain't got no ground rules at their own house, so they ain't got none when they step outside. So what the fuck happens when they go outside? Chaos. In a dictator style situation, no, you can't have the criminal themselves tell other people how to live their lives. But them other people better learn how to govern your damn self. You know what's dignified and what's not. You know what looks respectable and what don't. You know what you yourself would be like, man, damn. What's the first thing somebody says about if they on some street ignorant shit when they see somebody outside of street ignorant shit do that thing? Man, he looked like one of them. He looked like from around my way, right? But when they saying that, what they're really saying is, dang, man, you're supposed to be better than that. You're supposed to look better than that. We expect you to look better than that. You should have a fucking pair of pants with a belt on, bitch. You ain't never supposed to walk out and call yourself a man with your goddamn pants hanging off your motherfucking asshole. That's what the fuck they saying when they see that shit. But ain't nobody real enough to say that. They want to play like it's okay. It ain't never fucking been okay. And every time you accept it, get ready because the shots are coming. Because the mentality that goes with it does not respect the weapons. And that's a goddamn fact. It ain't debatable. It's statistical, it's situational, and we see it. Like I said, what got me so fucking mad from the beginning? Somebody sent me a video to some kids from my goddamn alma mater that has changed so much I don't even want to say the name of my high school. Why would I want to tell somebody I went there and they think that that's what I'm about? Fool, I ain't got nothing to do with these ignorant motherfuckers now. I went there when it meant something. These fools fighting at a graduation. Smart don't even mean smart no more. Smart means smart enough to be a bigger fool now. That's ridiculous. Somebody asked in the comments what we talking. That's what I'm talking about. I'm pissed, y'all, and I gotta let it vent. I'm tired of it. Because it always points back to everybody that looks a little bit, I ain't say look like me, because none of these motherfuckers look like me. Look a little bit like somebody might be related to me. And that pisses me off. Because you got the whole world watching. There ain't a damn thing you do no more with one of these goddamn phones in your hand that don't have the potential of going worldwide. Remember that. There ain't nothing cool about being the fool. Word to Mr. T. That man said, I pity the fool. Damn it, it's still true. I pity the fool. People around here trying to fucking survive, man. And y'all playing. Y'all really think you got time to fucking play? This ain't it.